All right. Here we go, back again on the other side of the coin. All right, welcome back to the other side of the coin, ladies and gentlemen. And I've got one of the members, the one of four, including me, four of the all you can eat Chelsea members. You're gonna see, hopefully, the rest of the crew sometime this week or sometimes next week. Obviously, it's the international break, so I want to bring some guests over and have some conversations and allow you guys to also chip in with your comments as well and see how you guys are feeling. But first of all, Baba, I'm not even gonna ask you how you're doing because that's just a ridiculously stupid question. I'm gonna get straight into it. All right, I'm gonna get straight into it.
Hmm.
How shocked, how shocked are you at the state of life at the moment for a Chelsea fan? Talk to me, bro.
Uh, the review that I had posted after the game, it was not a review, it was a complete rant. And people are telling me that 4 games into the season, you shouldn't be speaking like this, and you are one of the most sanest fans out there. Last season,
Mm.
you held it together, but right now, after 2 defeats only, you're like all you are going all crazy on the team and the manager. See, the
Mm.
thing is, bro, I I don't feel bad when I get beat fairly. I don't feel bad if I tried hard enough and I don't get something because I know I've tried hard enough. And same with
Yeah.
the team. Like
Mm.
if the team does well in a game, and like for example the Liverpool game, if we would have lost that game, I wouldn't have felt bad because we played
Because
well
we
and we
tried.
tried because
We
we
tried.
tried.
Yeah.
The thing I hate most is getting betrayed on, getting cheated on. And I
Mm.
felt we got cheated on that day. The way the preseason went, the way we played that first game against Liverpool and the first half at West Ham, I think we got betrayed. We got cheated on. Like we were given a team. See, here is your Chelsea team for the next season.
Mm.
They are playing really well. You've got option all over the place. No worries if Reece James is not fit. You've got Gusto. No worries if Nkunku is out. You've got Chukwuemeka. We've signed Cole Palmer. Uh, each and every position now have 2 proper players.
Mm.
Hence, no more of this. We don't have Angolo Conte, so we will capitulate like we did last season at times, or the season before that.
Mhm.
We had to change our whole system because we did not have Reece James and Kante at times.
Yeah.
So we had to use Loftus Cheek as that stopgap. Now, none of that.
Yeah.
So there is no European football. The vision is very clear. Each and every signing, apart from Cole Palmer, I'm sure we'll discuss that also later
Yeah.
in the show. But most of the signings are done with Poch at the helm, and the things are very clear. Like you've broken the transfer record 2 times in the last 6 months. I'm all for trusting the process. I'm all for giving manager and team time, but I have to see something to be appreciative of. That day
Mm.
when I saw us playing against Nottingham Forest, it was last season all over again, and
Mm.
hence I lost my shit completely. You cannot play like that. It was Graham Potter 2.0. And the
Yeah.
thing which really ticked me off was Poch's statement saying that we dominated the game. Are you
Yeah.
crazy? Dominating
Everything
possession
we
means
had last season. Everything we had last season.
and seriously, I felt like crying. Like I almost dropped a tear after the game because this is not what we were promised during the preseason. You get me?
Yeah.
So it was, and Nicholas Jackson, that missed chance. I mean, see, you're a good player, your hold up play, your link up, your runs, everything, but you have come here to score goals, and there is no excuse. If you and me miss that chance from 4 yards out, it's understandable because we aren't professional footballers.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But this brother is a professional footballer.
They're
he,
training
he
non-stop every day. They're training.
there is no excuse that you there was no excuse for him to miss that Liverpool chance also.
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but okay, we let it slide. It's his
Yeah.
first game, the whole team is new, we played well. Okay, let bygones be bygones. But this miss,
It
this
was
got me back
onerous. It
to
was
a very
onerous.
dark. I was in a very dark place, a very very
Yeah.
dark place after the game, and it brought me to the last season, and I was like, oh man, we cannot endure this again. No way we are finishing outside top 5 this season. And the run of fixtures that we have now after Aston Villa, God save us,
It's
man.
it's up the backside. It's up the backside. Ladies
Ah.
and gentlemen, you know what? Baba's not even kidding because obviously myself, Baba, Eunice, and Matisse, we have a WhatsApp group for All You Can Eat Chelsea, and
Mm,
he was the first one that was like you can feel his emotions in the messages. He and when he says that he's the sanest guy when it comes to Chelsea YouTube community, he absolutely is. I've watched a lot of his videos. If you guys haven't, go and watch, subscribe as well. Um, I'll tell you straight away, he's the sanest. So when he's losing his mind, and he's talking about betrayal. I know exactly what he's on about because a lot of the people, Baba, has come to me as well. Miz,
mm,
look at you, negative, so negative, always negative from you, Miz. You know, it's
mm.
only so like it's early in the season. The season's barely even started. Baba, what they fail to realize that we've endured this for 12 months before. This isn't like now. This isn't a now thing. This has been done repeatedly last season, and you were close to tears. I cried in my stream. I actually cried in my stream. I broke down
Yeah.
because waking up in insane hours like you and me we do, watching the crap that we saw last season, it's taxing. It's taxing on the mind as well. It's people think it's all about content creation, this, that. No, we love this football club, and we don't want to wake up and watch the football club do bad. So I fully understand the betrayal. What I want to ask you is, Baba, what what is going on? Like, let's talk a little bit about this betrayal, right? Because this is the right word. I think Eunice said the same thing in his video as well. He feels cheated, he feels betrayed. Let's talk a little bit about this.
Uh,
Pochettino showed us an
hmm,
image in the preseason.
hmm.
What, what is going on now? What, like, all of a sudden he's talking about process, he's talking about patience. Why did you tell us all these lies? Like, you're gonna win today, tomorrow, yesterday, day after yesterday. Like, what's going on?
Uh, I don't know. It's if there's some sort of a virus which, this is the viral outbreak which messes up with your mind and makes the manager say all the same shit again and
Mm,
again. Potter used to say the same things. Lampard, okay, it was a lost cause when Lampard had come in, but I don't really know what's happening there. West Ham match, I could understand what he was trying to say after the game, and I had given him the benefit of doubt also because it was not his mistake. It was individual errors which had cost us the goals, and an absence of proper number 10 was the issue there why we
mm,
lost that game. So I could see why we had lost that game. But this game, him coming out saying that we need time, players are rushing their decisions, they need to be more composed, and not
mm.
calling players out, at least show us that you had some instructions in your mind but players did not execute it. I would take that rather
Yeah,
than you coming out and saying we dominated the game and we need to convert our chances. That's elementary football. You have to score goals to win football
of
games.
course. Yeah.
And it was not like we had 11 shots on target and we couldn't score goals. We had two shots on target and both of those shots were not anywhere near looking like we could score goals.
But just to
So,
stop you there, that
hmm,
entire match, how Poch said we created a lot of chances. You watched the match. I watched the match. The people on the live stream have watched the match. For me, I only recall one proper chance, which was Nicholas Jackson, and everything was all half chances. Nothing
hmm.
clear cut besides that Nicholas Jackson. Would you agree? That's how you saw the match?
Yeah, I would say that for us to score goals, we need to make 7 or 8 chances if we are to score 2 or 3 goals. For
Mm,
example, what happened in Luton game? We
yeah.
created a lot of clear-cut chances and we ended up scoring 3 goals.
Mm,
That game, there were no clear-cut chances apart from that Jackson miss right at the end.
correct.
Before
Correct.
before 80th minute, there were no clear-cut chances, and we don't have enough quality in the team to convert those half chances, so we cannot call them chances.
Mm,
For Miss, if you would agree with me on this one,
mm,
do you think since past 2 to 3 seasons, since Tuchel took over, or even in the Lampard time, somehow we don't look like scoring only. It's sometimes it's a miracle how we score goals. Earlier even in Sari's time there were games in which we did not look good, but we used to score 2 to 3 goals easily.
Easy, easy.
Huh.
Yeah,
Easy. But right now there is nothing in between. Either you're completely shit in a game, or
yeah,
you'll create 5 6 chances, you'll end up scoring 2 3 goals. You cannot expect this team to grind out results.
yeah,
Even if Jackson had scored that 82nd minute goal, and let's say with the 6 7 added minutes, we could have got one more goal from somewhere.
yeah. Of course.
but
Yeah,
s- but still, I would ask a lot of questions of this team, but it wouldn't be so demeaning right now. Like, I
yeah.
am absolutely going after the team. I won't be going after their heads like I'm doing right now,
Mm,
because
mm.
we are not able to grind results in the games in which we are not playing good football.
Yeah,
It's either you are dominating the game, or it's nothing. You're
yeah.
losing like absolute pieces of wood out there. So I don't know what has happened. This team, and you cannot blame it on the team also now, because out of the 11 players who have started past 2 3 games, around 7 or 8 are new players or just come in January.
Just on that, hold that
Hmm,
thought, because this
hmm,
is the big point now. What you've just said.
hmm.
We don't look like we're scoring. We don't look like we're grinding out results. We look like we're controlling possession, like Poch said post match. We control a lot of possession. Ben Chilwell said as well, we control a lot of possession, but that possession really doesn't materialize to anything. Now, what I want to ask you, this is what everyone is talking about now, Baba. Do you think what you just said, that we don't look like we can grind, we've got new players, is this because the average age of the squad is low and the experience at the highest level for most of the squad is not there, besides obviously Thiago Silva and Raheem Sterling and a few of the other people? And they're the ones that are actually doing good. So Raheem Sterling's the one that's scoring. Thiago Silva predominantly has been defending well. Obviously, in recent times, there's some question marks about that. Do you think, Baba, that, and then we'll now slowly transition to the transfers? Do you think the board, the owners, this whole sort of philosophy, this passion for young kids, is this gone a bit overboard? Talk to me.
If we were in a title race and consistently we would have been winning games, but would have been faltering at the last moment, or say we were not able to beat a Man City, then I would say, okay, we are lacking in experience. Or in some of the cup games, if we are taking some rash decisions, then I would say we would have lacked experience. Arsenal, I would buy that argument for them not winning the title last season, because they also have a squad which is full of kids.
Young kids,
But
yeah, yeah, young
yeah, yeah,
players.
young kids. But the quality is there, the
Hmm.
philosophy is there, the style of play is there. Hence, they were able to put some pressure on Man City for title last season. So there you can say, you can give an argument that, okay, you do not have an experienced squad, and hence you are not able to go past the finishing line.
Hmm.
But this is the same thing as the last season. This game against Nottingham Forest. Last season, you had enough experienced players. You had Aspilicueta, you had Thiago Silva, you
True.
had Kepa, who's quite experienced. You
Kovacic.
had
Yeah.
Kovacic, Kante, and you had a major chunk of people who had won the Champions League 2 seasons ago.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, but it was the same thing all over again. But again, you had excuses over there also: new ownership, new manager, new players, time to gel, chemistry issues, this and that. I would buy the experienced argument if we are not able to go past finishing line. But this squad, despite not being experienced,
Hmm.
despite having these young players, despite having a new manager, there is no excuse for us not to lose. Losing again is a part of the game. I'm not
Yeah.
against my team losing any games. To play the way they played. Experience does not mean that, in my opinion. The way
Yeah.
we played against Nottingham Forest, the intensity, the style of
The game
play,
plan, basically, where you're saying the
uh,
game plan
uh,
should not
uh,
matter on the experience. Like you
yep,
have a game plan.
uh, and and experience cannot be a strategy. And experience, we if we sign experienced players, we will be in a better situation. That cannot be a strategy.
That's not the strategy. Good talk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I don't buy this argument in this situation, in this context. I think we have a
Mm,
squad which is good enough to at least challenge for a top four place. I'm
mm.
not saying that we are going to win titles. I'm not saying that we are going to beat Man Cities and the Arsenals and the Liverpools week in, week out. But don't capitulate like the way you did against Nottingham Forest, or at least see. My problem is it's 81st minute. You've got a throw in, and the guy who's going to take a throw in is ambling on the sideline. He's just jogging and getting the ball because they have lost in their minds. They
Yeah.
know the goal is not coming.
Yeah.
The urgency is not there. The intensity is not there. The will to go inside the opposition box is not there. All we
Mm.
do is pass the ball around, cross it in, and hope for something to happen. It's
And,
not going to happen.
and you know what else annoyed me? That whole situation that you just said, that in our head we've given up, that we've lost. And I think a lot of the people in your watch alongs as well, in my watch along, plenty of people are like, Miz, I don't think we are scoring today. You know what really gave away that a particular moment that I felt like we are so out of our thought process is when Mudryk went for that 40-yard shot and he hit that first man. And I'm like, he had two people out wide open
Mm.
and he just went for a Hollywood shot from 40. And that's when I was like, we actually have no plan. We're out of ideas, to the point where this brother is banging off a shot from so far out, and he didn't even cross the first guy that was in front of him. He hit him straight on his body. Um, let's transition on the transfers now. Let's quickly just go through some of the super chats. Galib, thank you so much for the super chat, my man. Big up Miz and Drogba. Guys, I can't help myself and think when Lavia become available, we are going to play with LFC in midfield 4-3-3, or with Enzo in attacking midfield position with 4-2-3-1. I think this may work. Look, uh, personally, I rather have Enzo coming from deeper and then transitioning into forward positions. I don't like Enzo being too far out from the get go. I think it's very important Enzo participates in the build up. So yeah, I do think maybe a four
And
three three.
I've and I would like to just like add on to your point, Miss.
Mm,
What Galib has asked, it's not down to the formation or the tactical setup. It's about the intensity.
yeah,
If Caicedo would not have made that mistake, I think the game finishes in a nil-nil draw.
0-0. Yeah,
Yeah. And we all are ranting the same way as we are.
true.
So it's about the intensity,
Yeah.
and it's about getting that urgency on the field. I don't think so pushing Enzo forward and getting Lavia and like changing the position of one or two players does that
Mm,
for you. I think it comes from getting the game plan absolutely right on the field, what manager has told you. And I have a lot of questions to ask from manager also regarding this game.
mm, mm.
Like, what is Chilwell doing on the left hand side? That's a staple question right now from the whole fan base. Okay, I
Yeah,
won't go too much into that. Why are you making substitutions so late?
yeah.
Mikhailo Mudryk has played 19 Premier League games, and on an average, he's featured only 13 minutes per game. Why are you not giving him the confidence when you've played him in the preseason? And we saw good things from him in the preseason.
That
Why
link up
has
with
uh,
Nicholas Jackson.
yeah,
You remember the
yeah,
goal that
yeah,
Mudryk scored in the preseason?
yep. And why is Martson not being
Yeah,
given a proper chance in the front line and
yeah.
a chance to show what he's capable of when you unlocked his versatility in the preseason?
Mm,
And what is this with sticking up with the Nicholas Jackson for whole of the 90 minutes when you are seeing nothing is happening? You can try other players. If you are able to try Chilwell on the left wing, why you can't try other players in that false nine role? I
mm.
understand you don't have any players, but Sterling has played. You can shift Sterling and you can
Of course.
get Madueke and Mudryk in the front line.
Yeah,
If you are experimenting with Chilwell, then what is stopping you from experimenting with Jackson?
yeah.
No one is shielded from criticism when they're not doing well. You have to
Throw
call
in
out
the
bad
throw in
performance.
that youngster. David Washington was in the bench.
Yeah.
Put two
Yep.
strikers in. Do you know what I mean?
Yep. And what's up with Cole Palmer? I mean, Like you sent him as a substitute in the second half, and it was looking like we had no instructions for any of the players. It was
Yeah,
like
it was
Pochettino has
chaos.
told him,
It was
yeah,
chaos.
you go out there and you've got enough quality, just try to score a goal, man.
Just do something.
Just do
Just
just do
just do
something. We
something.
had, I think, 7 or 8 forwards in the
Yeah,
second half,
yeah,
counting Matson. But nothing happened because you don't have a plan. You,
yeah.
even if you throw in attackers, you throw in substitutes, you need to give them some sort of instructions. You need to have some sort of a plan. And talking about injuries, the only player which is injured right now, which can make some difference in the immediate effect, is Nkunku with his
Nkunku, yeah.
quality. I'm not even counting Greece James because we have
Because
an answer for Greece James.
Malo
Malo
Gusto is
Gusto
very good. Yeah,
is very good. He might not be good offensively as Reece James,
yeah,
but defensively is equally good in my opinion. What I've seen from him so far.
yeah, yeah. Agreed, agreed.
So there is no excuse, no, uh, I mean, things to defend Pochettino and the team for that performance. And even in that Luton game, if it hadn't been for Sterling's individual movement, there was nothing in the first half also.
Bro, the first half was not good against Luton.
Hmm.
It just clicked into gears in the second half.
Uh,
But everyone will beat Luton, Baba. Everyone's gonna beat Luton. Luton looks like a proper championship team. So for us, that should not be the barometer to judge how good this
hmm.
Chelsea team or how bad this Chelsea team is. I think the fact that we can't beat Nottingham Forest at home, the same Nottingham Forest that were 2-0 up against Man United, and Man United romped back with a 3-2 victory, and we know how bad Man United has been this season, right? And look at the chaos that's happening with Man United now. Even they've managed to come back in their situation to beat someone like Nottingham Forest. Whereas, as you said, we look like we just. It never looked like we were going to score. It just never looked like we were going to score. And that's the disappointing factor. Leo Messi, thank you so much for the super chat. In the next window, we are going for Ivan Tony. See, this. Let's talk about the transfers. Baba, I keep hearing people saying, spend more money, bring this guy, bring that guy. When are we gonna have some shame, Baba? We've spent £1 billion, ladies and gentlemen, and we are still in this predicament where we've 4 matches played, 4 points. As Matisse would say, we're amortizing points, 1 point a game after 4 matches. Baba, in your opinion, as a Chelsea fan, do you sometimes feel embarrassed to look at your other friends who might be other clubs, rival fans? Like, how can we walk around saying that we've spent so much money in the transfer window and then we have these sort of performances?
Uh, to be honest, see, I was defending this spending, and I was saying that we need to win. If we have to be competitive, you need to spend, you need to solve your problems. If you need a DM, you go out and get a DM. If you need a proper central midfielder, you go out there and you get an Enzo. If you
Mm,
need a striker, you go out and get a Nicholas Jackson. But now you have got them. It's not like you've missed out, or the FSG are your owners. You
mm,
have spent a lot of money and you've got your A list targets.
yeah,
There is no excuse. What's the cushion is gone. That margin of error is gone with this spending. If we wouldn't have got Caicedo this window, and if we would have had a midfield of Gallagher, Enzo, and maybe Andre Santos, I would have accepted these results.
true.
Expected and accepted both.
Mm,
I know, because the midfield is not up to the mark. We don't have that proper presence who can defensively help us, but it is understandable because we've spent so much. Maybe the prioritizing the targets would have been wrong. Maybe we could have done without a Nicholas Jackson, or maybe we could have done without a Cole Palmer, or let's say not signing too many players, or keeping Kepa and not getting Robert Sanchez. That all of that I could have understood. But you have let go of all the players, and you were about to let go of Matson also, which really
You
set me
you
off.
agreed on fee. You agreed on fee. You agreed with Burnley to
Yeah.
let him go.
And it was Matson's decision to not leave.
Yeah.
So what's going on there? Is the manager having a say in any of this? Is Pochettino having a say in any of this? Like, I want Madsen to be here, and if Cucurella not happening to Manchester United was a result of him playing against Wimbledon in the League Cup game,
Mm.
then clearly you, management, the directors, the manager are not on the same page. Because if you were to let go of Kukurea and you were to give Matson a fair chance on the left hand side, then you did not have to play him in the League Cup game. You could have played Matson there, or you could have used Chilwell there from the first minute. And because Kukurea played that game, Manchester United, it was one of the reasons that why that deal did not happen. David Ornstein reported that because
Oh,
his
is that
appearance in
true? Is that true? I thought one of the
I don't.
biggest issues was the fact that Man United wanted a January exit clause,
Huh.
and Chelsea didn't want to put that.
But this was one of the reasons also.
That he
Like,
started.
uh, b- my point is, if it's a player that you're negotiating with
Mm.
Manchester United for, why is he starting a game?
Yeah,
Wh-
true.
uh,
That was a
when
surprise for all of us.
uh, uh, when the transfer window is about to get over in 48 hours? So
Mm.
I don't understand these things. There is a clear lack of synergy between manager, the owners, and the directors, and the things which we had highlighted last season might affect us this season also. Because earlier we had thought, with the Ugarte deal, that Pochettino told the management that he does not need him, and it's okay if we do not get him and pay overpay for him, and we were very happy
Yeah.
that we were going after him. But it was Poch's decision not to get Ugarte. Then we were like, oh, he has the reins. He's calling the shots. But with Cole Palmer, he has come out openly and said it's not my idea.
Mm.
So what's going on there, and what happens to the other players?
I'm
I don't
sure
know.
as well, Baba. This whole thing about David Washington, 18-year-old Brazilian kid. I'm sure this was not in Pochettino's plan to have as a backup striker. Like he wanted Lautaro Martinez. He wanted Dybala. I know Dybala is not an out and out striker, but he can potentially play as a second striker. This is a good point that you bring up. Is there complete synergy between owners, board, and the manager? Maybe there were in certain areas, but some of these maths, as once again Matisse, they're not mathing. They're not really mathing up, are they? Because okay, you've got Amanda Broya, who's still in rehabilitation, like he's still yet to come back, and you keep hearing Poch in press conferences continuously saying, "We're looking for perhaps an experienced player, an experienced player, an experienced player." And then you get Cole Palmer, yes, Premier League experience, sure, but still he's a kid. He's not played, like he's only played about 25 or something matches last season in the Premier League, um, predominantly off the bench, not that many starts either. And then, as I said, the striker, like, do you think this is a legitimate assumption to make, what you just said, that some of these players that are getting Ian Martson case, board said yes, and Ian Martson at home in Instagram laughing and he didn't want to go. Surely Pochettino doesn't want him to go. Uh, do you think there is a bit of a disconnection within the board, the Pochettino and the owners?
Seems like it, because if it hadn't been the case, I don't think so. Martson's deal would have had any kind of like these twists and turns in the end. Uh, if board were having their way, they would have sold him. But I think Pochettino would have told them at the last moment, and with the player having manager's confidence, I think it led board not to sell Martson. That's what
Mm.
I feel has happened at the last moment. Lewis Hall I can understand, because in the preseason also he did not feature much. I think
He
it
didn't
was
feature. Yeah.
there was only a small bit of minutes that he got in the last game. I don't think so. Apart from that, he got featured at all. So I can understand Post did not work with him. He did not see enough of Lewis Hall. and we had to sell some of the academy players to make our books right. I understand the Lewis Hall sale, but if you see as players only as profit and loss statements and you don't consider what the manager has to say, then we are in for trouble. Like,
Mm.
then Chelsea Football Club won't be a football club. It would be like a uh, buy and sale yard for the players. Okay, we'll get a player, we'll get Enzo for 100 million, we'll give him an 8-year contract. 4 years down the line, when a Spanish club is interested, we'll sell him for 120 million profit booked on Enzo, and even more because he will not. The fee is amortized, so we would not have to pay that 100 million for the whole of
Yeah.
the 8 years.
Making
It's
sure that
only
the
50
books are
million.
balanced, making sure that we
books
don't make
books
any
are bad.
loss.
So I hope that does not happen. And the thing is, earlier also in the Abramovich regime, the manager and board did not have a synergy. But
Mm.
we used to win matches, we won trophies consistently. So these questions were not a problem at that point of time.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was always laid down on the manager. Okay, manager is not good enough. That's why we are not winning things. Right now, we haven't won anything, and we've had our worst season under Todd Bowley. The first season under Todd Bowley was our worst season, and I don't know how long in the
Probably in the
Premier League.
history. No, probably in the history.
In the Premier League history, I don't think so. We have finished below 10th.
Mm.
So that, along with the two defeats that you have faced in the first four games, and the manner in which we have played our football, has turned our heads and made us ask these questions: that is there a synergy, is there a problem between the board and the manager? All of this will disappear once we start winning games, but
Mm.
it does not look like we'll win games if we play like this and with Chilwell on the left wing.
No, it's 100%.
Yeah.
Do you know what? You're actually starting to make me think in many different ways now, because I was more thinking, nah, surely like they've got synergy. Surely they're talking
Hmm.
to each other. Like, surely the owners are not going to make the same mistake like they made last season. Like,
Hmm.
surely the board owners have come out of it. The board is controlling everything. The board with Paul Winstonley, Lawrence Stewart, Joe Shields, they're the ones who are having conversations with Pochettino, and they're all in a cohesion. They're all together as to what needs to happen. But you're now making me think that this whole Ben Chilwell, like all the transfers, right? Young players. Apparently, there was a report out by Nizar Kinsella, or no, sorry, Matt Law, a few days ago saying Chelsea refused to buy anyone above the age of 25. So that's why
Hmm.
they didn't go after James Madison. And you look at
that that
James.
I thought that I thought was was a bit,
Do,
what would
do you
you
think
say?
like
That's a
we've
joke.
not though? Like we've not really done that. We've not gone for anyone above 25 though. So I don't know whether Matt Lowe is joking or he's absolutely being serious. But you have to ask the question: why didn't we put our name there for James Madison? And that's just one player out there. And you look at the way James Madison's playing now for Spurs, right? But going back to the Chilwell point, is I mean, what is Poch trying? What message is Poch giving? Baba, like, what is he actually sending a message to the board that I'm not happy with who you got as my wingers? I'm not happy with Mudryk. I'm not happy with Medveke. The only winger I'm happy with is Raheem Sterling. That's why, because I'm not happy, I'm playing Ben Chilwell to send you a message. Because what in the God's name is Pochettino thinking? And after the match, he's talking about players missing chances. There are some chances that are falling for Ben Chilwell and he's missing. He's not a striker. He's not an attacker. Obviously, he's going to miss in those areas. Do you think Pochettino is sending a message here, or is this is actually part of the plan?
To be honest, I have no words for the Chilwell situation. I don't know what's happening there. If you see the last game again, and it brings me to the last game, I cannot get that game out of my head. The left side was absolutely dead. It was dead.
Yeah. It was all on the
Nothing
right.
was
We were
happening.
just attacking
It
from the right.
Yeah, it was all on the right, and because you could see a clear lack of coordination between Gusto and Sterling. Nothing substantial was happening from that end also. We were able
Mm.
to get into the final third, but then it all fizzles out from there on onwards. Chilwell, I believe, because he is a good crosser of the ball, and that's it. That's the only trait that I can associate with Chilwell when he's playing as an attacker. That's it. I see. I don't have any justification for him playing at the left wing. That's the problem. Like, I cannot understand this tactically. Even uh, like people who say he's a flop, Mudryk, I don't really agree with that, because we haven't given him fair chances to prove himself. Like, if we would have given him a run of, say, 6 7 fixtures, we would have
Yeah,
started him, and then I think it would be a fair time to judge
judgment.
him.
Yeah, yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
But right now, I think he's too worried about us conceding goals, and we end up conceding goals anyway.
Anyway,
Yeah, and he thinks that this team needs to gel a bit more. The thing which frustrates me most is that we are playing with a one hat tied behind our backs. Levi Colville, who's such a beautiful ball playing center back, who can break the lines with the one single pass, one diagonal
mm,
ball.
mm,
And you've got players who can be direct. You've got Sterling, you've got Madueke, you've got Mudryk on the bench, and you are not using all of these, all of these things. And which which really bugs me is, it's half time. You are 0-0 against Nottingham Forest at
at
home,
home. Yeah,
and still you are persisting with the same system. You've seen it's not worked. You've seen it's not.
it's going nowhere. It's
It's going
lethargic.
nowhere. The
Yeah.
creativity is not there. I think he likes players who can run a lot. Chilwell runs a lot. Gallagher
Gallagher
runs
runs
a
a
lot.
lot. Yeah.
Enzo on merits gets selected because you've got no one else who can play that role.
Mm.
If he had two Gallaghers, I think he would have benched Enzo also.
It probably. What's with these managers when they come to Chelsea? They love the runners, man. They love the cardio sessions. They
Hmm.
really do. What's going
And,
on?
and I think if Mason Mount would have stayed, we would
Oh,
have seen a midfield of Mount, Gallagher, and Caicedo, or whoever was the number 6.
Mason Mount would 100% start for Pochettino in this team. You know, you best believe he's starting.
Yeah. He might also start as a number 6, then number 10, sorry, number 10 behind
Mm.
the striker,
Yeah,
because he loves the runners, he loves the players who can have the ball. But you cannot base your system to suit your style of play. You have to base a system to suit the style of play of the players that you've got in your team. Because right now you cannot go up to the board and say, "See, I have not got my players who can play the style that I want." Because that's not even a question anymore. You've got players who can play any possible style. You've got so many players who can play any style right now. And
100,
the good managers are those managers who see a team, who have a squad at their disposal, and who can figure out, okay, what style of play plays to their strengths.
Mm,
What can I do to get the best out of these players, rather than them playing to my style, because I don't have players who can play my style. Let me play the style which these players are comfortable in, and in the style in which these players can play their best football.
mm.
And we are not seeing that.
Every
Hence the Chilwell thing.
everything we saw in the preseason, Baba, the one touch, give and go, quick one touch, the link up between Angelo Gabriel from that right side, linking up with Martsen linking up with Nicholas Jackson then linking up with other players, Mudryk linking. It's
I
all gone,
I
disintegrated.
I don't remember Chilwell playing as a left wing in the preseason.
Never, never did he do that.
So that's the betrayal that we are talking about.
Yeah. And Levi Colwell never played as a left back.
Hmm. And I don't think so he's happy playing there, because he's not a diagonal passer of the ball. He's not a player who can come on overlaps and will ping you
He,
balls inside the box.
exactly. He's not overlapping. He's not
Hmm.
really underlapping either. He's not whipping
Hmm.
it. He's not a fullback.
Hmm.
And being on that, and I've always said, being on that left back position, he's so far out in the left. When the ball reaches to him on the build up, the opposition can quickly go in on him, and it really cuts down his angles. When he's more central, with his left foot, he's able to hit those diagonal passes or hit those line breaking passes. So Yeah, it is all a bit strange. Let's go through a few super chats and then we're going to continue this conversation. DK Vibes, thank you so much for the super chat. Nkunku is a big miss. He's the only winger who can both create and score. Nkunku Sterling at both wings will work. And if we get Tony better, look, I'm not even sure when Nkunku's coming back, man. That's a long time away. Nkunku's coming back in January. So um, you need to understand how many games we have to play until January. So we have to think about other options. Like the manager has to have a secondary plan. The manager's plan cannot just be based on Nkunku. You have to have an attacking philosophy that you should be able to play with everyone that you have in your squad, not just based on one player. That's just my thought around it. Valen, thank you so much for the super chat. Come on, you know for a fact that Poch is known to be stubborn when it comes to making a substitution. That's what Spurs fans were annoyed with him for. Yeah, a lot of people have been saying this. But we've talked about some transfers, young players, experienced players. We've talked about the manager as well, the betrayal. I want to now talk to you about some players individually, and then we'll wrap things up with where our life is taking us. We're going to finish with that. I want to talk to you about some players. Obviously, we touched on Ben Chilwell. Don't want to touch on that anymore. In recent times, there's been a lot of talk about Thiago Silva in defense. There's been a lot of talk about Axel Desarci. Even Levi Colwell at times looks a bit shaky in defense. With the ball, yeah, he looks all right. Against Salah in Liverpool, there was a lot of times Salah took him on and got the best out of him. That last goal against Nottingham Forest, someone like Desarci and Levi Colwell could not recover quickly enough to close that gap out for Elanga. Let's start from defense, and we'll throw in goalkeeper as well. Are you comfortable with goalkeeper, the defenders? Are you noticing some of these slanders, some of these outrage towards Thiago Silva in recently? Obviously, Thiago Silva in Instagram replying back to a fan as well. Looks like he's a bit annoyed that, it isn't a back three, it is a back four, this, that, the other. What's your thoughts about some of the players and their performances?
I think it's down to the confidence. The confidence is low right now. You can see the way players are making so silly errors. They are not known to do that. Caicedo making that error because, Caicedo made that error because Gallagher was out of position. And Gallagher was out of position because he wanted to get the ball going forward.
Yeah.
And Caicedo, without even giving a thought, he just passed it to Gallagher, and without knowing that, okay, Gallagher would be here or there. So these are individual mistakes which are being committed game in, game out because of these players either being new to the system, or they are not comfortable in playing this system. And hence we are committing the same mistakes again and again. Colwell will not look comfortable unless you play him as the center back in the role in which he's comfortable.
Yeah.
Disasi again, although it's a back four and you look at it as a Colwell playing as a left back and Disasi and Silva are your center backs, but sometimes Disasi also drifts very wide and he does not
Yeah.
have that pace to
To
recover
recover. Yeah.
and come back into the position. So it's down to him, with Gusto being right up top on the right hand side. So it's a with the ball, it's a back five only. We have three center backs behind who have to take care if the opposition is counter attacking. So this is down to the system, and if the manager realizes that, see, all of these three center backs do not have too much pace. Colville, Silva, and Disasi. They are good with the ball. They are good in the air. They are physical. They are good sitting back deep or defending when the attack is coming to them. Not when
Yeah.
we are taking the attack to the opposition and we are losing the ball in silly areas.
In transition, you're right.
And
You know what? I didn't notice when he was in Brighton, because the way Brighton sets up, probably he didn't get exposed too much. But Colwell's not that quick, right? He's not that quick. Obviously, Desarci, we've seen he's not that quick.
But I think the goalkeeper is a letdown.
Yeah.
I believe he could have done better there. But to begin with, I never thought that Sanchez would be a world class option to replace Kepa. He was always seen as a competition. If Kepa was here, he would not have been starting. Kepa would have been a number one in any case.
Yeah.
So us not going for an experienced or a established goalkeeper might hurt us in the long term this season. But again, to begin with, winning the title was never a goal. So with a makeshift keeper, we can easily do a top four finish. And us committing mistakes is not helping the keeper out as well.
Mm.
We are leaving him in one-on-one situations very often.
Mm.
Should have done better in that Ilanga goal. Should have done well with that Antonio
Sanchez
shot.
should have, Sanchez should have done a bit better in that Elanga goal. His positioning was a bit too much on the right. I don't know why he was so much on the right side.
I don't know if he was expecting a shot or whatever the case is. See, now this is the team that we have, and
Mm.
we have got no other option but to trust these players. And hence, here is the role of the manager, that he has to employ a system which plays to their strength
Mm.
rather than players adapting to what manager wants them from. Because this is a very young squad. He thinks that it is a coachable squad. It's a young squad, hence he can coach these players in any style whatsoever. But there is a clear lack of experience also.
Yeah.
Hence, players are not able to execute what the manager wants from them clearly on the field.
Do you know what? It's such a good point. And just talking about the players, that whole segment that you just said about Caicedo, you made a mistake, but in essence, maybe he was, because Caicedo comes from a school of De Zerbi where they play one touch football. And he's already shown at Chelsea every time he gets the ball, one touch, he's trying to pass. And he's playing with a particular player in the likes of Gallagher, who's been very good this preseason off the ball. But Gallagher's not, he doesn't come from a school of one touch football. Enzo Fernandez comes from a school of one touch football. So do you think, like, at the moment, that is also definitely an issue where it's a mixture of players that have been bought from a certain school of thought? They're coming in and playing with other players that are not capable of playing that one touch football or whatever football that Poch is trying to play now, because I'm very confused as what Poch is trying to do at the moment. So do you think that is also, Baba, as players are not really completely understanding each other as well? Do you know what I mean?
Then it's a blunder on the ownership and the manager. Then manager should have told the ownership that, okay, don't break your bank for Caicedo, rather get me an NDD who can be
Or,
that
okay,
disruptive.
break me the bank for Caicedo, but get rid of Gallagher and get me a more technical midfielder.
Either way.
Either way, make a
Yeah.
decision.
So
Yeah.
you make a decision. So it's down to the manager again. It's down to the manager. There would have been green light by Pochettino for Caicedo. So Caicedo not being able to play what Pochettino wants is down to Pochettino. It's not on Caicedo. Players will play. Good players can play in any system. That's my belief.
Yeah.
They can play in a one-touch football style of play. They can play. If you want them to sit back, they will sit back. If you want them to hit on the counter, they will hit on the counter. It's not like, so that's where the manager comes in, right? I don't know. So if that's the issue, there we've made a proper blunder. Like if this brother is only able to play in a certain style of play, and we've got him for 115 million pounds, it's a huge blunder. Then you don't know how to use him. It's your fault. It's not the fault of the player that he's stranded with the ball at his feet with two guys pressing him and a Gallagher who's out of position when he wants to find him. So there is a clear lack of coordination and clear lack of communication amongst the players. Time can fix that, but do we have time? That's my question.
And this is exactly how I want to end it. And before I end it, Himanshu, thank you so much for the super chat. Miz, are we sure Poch all wanted these youngsters or boldly doing board signings? Because if you want mature players, you don't sign 21-year-olds all. And this is exactly, Baba actually got me thinking, because I was thinking maybe the club is setting themselves up for the future, but these are talented youngsters that we're getting, so they're still good enough to make into Champions League spots. And Poch is known to be, a manager that works well with young players. But Baba's actually got me thinking that, were they all bought for the footballing purpose, or were they bought for, a lot of them, for business purpose? Because young players will hold value, and if they perform well, you can perhaps sell them for a lot of money. So only time will tell. Only time will tell what is the direction these owners are going at. Um, if we don't make Champions League football, and this is what I want to talk to Baba now, in terms of looking ahead and what the future holds. Baba, if we don't make Champions League football this season, we are going to be in deep trouble. Not because the fan base is going to be in uproar. Financially, we cannot be handling all of these wages. And I know we've reduced our wages, but we've bought a lot of players. And I know we've sold players, but we still have a very high amount of fixed expenses every single year. No matter how much you amortize, you still got a high percentage of fixed expenses. The only way you're going to be able to sustain this is you do need to have Champions League football, the money that generates from there, the extra game that happens on a Champions League night. Baba, are you worried about Chelsea's near, distant, whatever future, the way things are looking a little bit shaky at the moment?
Like I was reading this report, the sales that we have made and the contracts that we have amortized has set up for the next season also. Like
2 years.
even
2 years.
for 2 years. So next
Yeah.
season we are safe. But yeah, the clock is ticking.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, if you don't get Champions League football this season, you have next season technically. But next season is a must. It's a do or die kind of a situation for you next season because you will be in a heap of trouble. And the thing is, I've got bigger concerns than us not being able to make it financially. You've got a very good lot of players right now. You've got Nkunku, you've got Enzo, you've
Mm.
got Caicedo. If you don't win things with these players right now in
They're
2 to 3
gonna
seasons, they're gonna leave.
they're gonna
They'll
leave.
say,
And then you have to
I'm
buy
might
more. Then you have to
then you
buy
have to
more.
then you have to buy more. I'm telling you, if we are not able to win anything substantial in the next 2 to 3 seasons, the
Enzo should
minute
not stick around. Enzo won't stick around.
minute Barcelona sort out their finances, Enzo is going to Barcelona. He's a
Yeah.
proper Barcelona mold of player because Real Madrid have already sorted out their midfield.
Yeah, yeah.
Barca will also look to sort their midfield out for the future. Right now, they have Frankie, Gavi, Pedri, but Gundogan is not particularly a young bloke. They will look at players who can, solve their problems for the next coming 7 to 8 years. And Enzo fits right in that profile. So there
Even
is no
Manchester
question.
City, bro. Even
Yeah,
Manchester
even Man
City.
City. Yeah, even Man
Yeah.
City. So we've got 2 to 3 years. If we win things, players get motivated. They want to stay here. London is a good place which players like to be. But uh, I am too concerned about players leaving us if we don't win anything. And
Because
financially,
they
I
won't
think,
tolerate. They
uh,
won't
yeah,
tolerate
they won't
loser
tolerate. And
mentality for too long.
financially, I think the owners are quite smart. They will find a way around. They'll find loopholes. They'll find ways in which we can, stay afloat, and the FFP will not hurt us. But from the footballing standpoint, I think it's a very, very bad situation if we don't win anything. I'm not losing hope as far as this
Mm.
season is concerned. It's only 4 games into the season. But what I have seen in the last game, it is a cause of concern. And same in the game against Wimbledon. I think it does not matter if Diego Moreira is starting or Mason Bursto is starting or Madueke is your penalty taker. You should be smashing a team from League One. As simple as that.
Yeah.
There are no questions about it. A team who's playing 2 or 3 tiers down the level
Two
on which you are
divisions
playing.
down. Yeah.
uh, yeah, and you are depending on a penalty and a mistake from the goalkeeper to beat them. There's something seriously wrong with this. The system is not there, right? The system which we want to play. See, if a system is there and you have your first team, you'll score 5 goals. If a system is there, you have a if you have your B team, you score 2 goals. But at least
Yeah.
you play the same way that you'll play.
Mm.
But the system that we are playing right now, I don't see us scoring goals, to be honest.
Yeah, regardless of A team, B team, it doesn't matter.
Mm.
We're just not
Yep.
scoring goals. No, you're
Mm.
absolutely right, man. Constantine, thank you so much for the super chat. Has Mudryk even started 3 games in a row since he
Mm.
joined us? Inconsistent game time and throwing him on with 10 minutes left will not develop him at all. I've said it. Even though I'm very, very critical about Mudryk and the performances he's been showing off the bench, I have said it when we bought Cole Palmer. We, as a football club now, we have a responsibility to turn some of these youngsters, if not a lot of them, into superstars. Because no point in stockpiling all of these youngsters if you're not turning them into superstars. And in essence, you're going to be destroying their career. And I feel very, very sad for some of these young players who are locked in for long contracts if we end up screwing their career. And I've said it, Mudryk should, regardless of how he's been performing lately, in order to give him some level of confidence, you need to start him. And it's such a slap in the face to him and Madueke as well, to a certain degree. To see Ben Chilwell starting as a left wing, it must be so insulting to these wingers to see a left back start ahead of them in an attacking position. I don't know where their confidence level might be. I know a lot of people are saying that Mudryk was ill and injured. We're not just talking about now. Mudryk hasn't been able to feature against Lampard. He wasn't getting that much time against with Potter as well. We've now got
I
Cole Palmer.
I believe Mudryk, we got him when the manager was looking at not to lose games. And we are looking not to lose games. You don't play your attackers. You play as many defenders
Defenders. Yeah.
as you can. So I think that has the timing has gone wrong with Mudryk. I think right now also Poch is looking to make that defense solid, and hence the guy who's get sacrificed is Mudryk. He got very unlucky. I think he would have started that game against Wimbledon and would have given him a lot of confidence if he would have played the 90 minutes in that game.
Baba, before I
Hmm.
go on to the other super chats,
Hmm.
against Bournemouth,
Hmm.
you don't want to see 5 defenders.
No, I don't want to see Chilwell at left wing. As simple as that. You play 8 defenders. you bench Enzo. You bench Caicedo. You play 8 defenders behind the 2 forwards, but no Chilwell on the left wing, please.
That is the bottom line. Just don't play. For
Okay.
me, honestly, against Bournemouth, if we don't
Hmm.
start seeing more attacking players
Hmm.
and the traditional back four, if you have to play Ben Chilwell because he's your vice captain now, he's your captain, you are forced to play him. I would use Ian Martin, but it looks like you're forced. Then use Ben Chilwell as a left back and use 2 CBs, traditional 2 CBs, and your right back and play another attacker. That's how I would be doing things. But no, Constantine, you're bang on, man. You're absolutely bang on that. How are we gonna build the confidence and develop young players if we're not even gonna give them an opportunity? And I know we are held accountable for results, but you're not going to get results from playing negative type of footballs. Simple as that. Constantine, once again, thank you so much for the super chat. When Poch first came in, he was saying there is no time to waste at a club like Chelsea and to win from day one. Now he's talking about patience and process. You're right. He's starting to talk a lot like some of our managers from previous times. And I feel like this is the betrayal, right? This is what Baba was talking about. This is what Yunus said as well in his video. And this is what I feel as well, that why didn't you just say all this from the get-go? Like it looks like you deceived us. You said things to get our buy-in, and now you're slowly massaging all of these P-word process and this and that and patience. So the patience will run thin if we don't get 3 points against Bournemouth. And it's not just Bournemouth. We have to go on a run. Arash, thank you so much for the super chat. I'm so very tired. We deserve better as fans. 100% agree. 100% agree. Constantine, thank you so much for the generous super chat, my man. A lot of these kids were bought for business purpose, and that is the BS strategy from Bowley. We need top players to compete for honors, not kids. This is CFC, not Dortmund or Leipzig, who win nothing. Well said again. Well said again. And only time will tell exactly what is going on with our transfer strategy. Swati, thank you so much for the super chat. We should lower our expectations this season. Expect more results like Nottingham game. I mean,
No, I respectfully disagree. Please, lowering our expectations means not going for the league. Lowering our expectations means that we have bunch of kids don't expect to win just yet. But lowering our expectations does not mean that you cannot play football against Nottingham Forest.
should play exciting football.
Uh,
But you should
yeah.
still play exciting football.
Hmm. So I disagree with that. Sorry.
No, even I disagree to the sense that we didn't spend all of this money to lower expectations. It's shame on us. It's embarrassing. How can we show our face? It's like what Matisse does sometimes when he goes to Big Six, and he's gonna get such a grilling tonight, by the way. When he goes to Big Six and he says, "Start," the countdown for 40 points starts now. Like, we should not be aiming for just 40 points. So, we've got the facilities, we've got the resources. It's up to us. And I don't know what happens when managers come to Chelsea Football Club. I'm not sure. There must be some sort of a disease inside the club. These managers, they play one brand of football when they're somewhere else, and then they come to Chelsea Football Club, and it's straight away reverting to three defenders, wing backs. I'm not sure why they do this, why they are so scared to play exciting football. Like, I'm baffled, and let's see what happens with Pochettino down the track. Baba, thank you so much for your time. Any
No
last sort of
problem, bro.
messages that you want to give? Something you want to get out of your chest before we wrap this up?
I I feel sick after watching the last game. To be honest, I've I've still not got over that game, and to be honest, if it's the last season all over again, I don't know what we are going to
It'll be
do.
so difficult for all of us. Honestly, it will be.
And again, like it's not like we've not got the players that we wanted, and not being overreactionary, it's only 4 games into the season, but the run of fixtures that we have after the Aston Villa game is ridiculous.
Mm.
So I don't see us winning any of those games if we keep on playing like this. So I hope the manager sorts it out. If he wants to play Chilwell at the left wing, play Chilwell at the left wing, but win some football matches and play some good football. If this starts to work, I have no problems with Robert Sanchez playing as a striker. Whatever the manager wants should happen, but that should translate into results also. We are all for supporting the manager, we are all for backing the team, but it needs to come to fruition. It needs to translate into results, into victories, into us playing some good football. And right now we are not seeing that, and that makes me sad.
No, that's exactly what makes me sad as well, man. That it was all meant to be turned around this season, and it's a miserable start. And I don't know about you, Baba. I watch Brighton's game, I watch Liverpool's game, and I watch Spurs game, and I have to say, I'm so envious, bro. I'm so jealous when I see those teams play, because they play a brand of football which is. I wish our football club played that brand of football. But anyways, we'll wrap things up. Hope you guys have enjoyed this. Smash the like button. We've got over 500 people live. So before you go, smash the like button and make sure you subscribe to Drug Bubba. He's on a monster number, well over 200K. The link is there for his channel on the title. So make sure you subscribe if you haven't subscribed. I know he does a lot of Hindi content, but there is also a few bits and pieces of English stuff that's going over there as well. And then you can always have subtitles. They'll work, right, Baba? Like if you
And yeah, I'm
or
working on
translate.
subtitles also. In future videos will have subtitles for the
There you
people
go.
who don't
There you go.
understand Hindi also.
But if you don't want to, see some of the longer videos of his channel, check out his shorts. they are banging. So make sure you do that at least. So do subscribe and yeah, check all of that out. Until next time, everyone, take care and see ya.
Take care, guys.